Hello, everybody. This is Coach Barba coming at you here from East Valley High School in Moxie, Washington, home of the Red Devils esports team. And today I'm making a video to cover OBS settings for creating quality broadcasts for your high school's esports team. Okay, so let's go over OBS settings. Well, how do we need to set our settings? All right, so here's OBS. And as you probably already know, all your settings can be accessed right down here under the controls. Or you can also get your settings. Well, I believe they're up here too, somewhere. I never use the ones here. Let's see, edit, settings. Well, there they are right there, right under the file menu, okay? So you can get them there too. I usually just click right down here for quick access, and there's my settings. All right. So we're going to go over settings today that will really give us a high quality stream at 1080p with 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second is what you want to record in for esports because of the quick frames, the quick frame rates that video games have, right? You want to be able to capture all that without any kind of, lagging or pausing, or you want to capture all the video game action. So you need to record at 60 frames per second. So let's look at what we need to do to make sure our streams happen at that rate. So 3 tabs we're going to cover. First, let's just quickly cover the video tab. So the video tab is a good starting place, and you want your base, your canvas resolution. Again, this is basically the size of your canvas in OBS. We want the output resolution, which is your video size, to be the same. We want both of those the same. And here's where we start with that 60 frames per second. It's the highest setting, right? That's what we want. We want the most frames per second to capture all that fun video gameplay that our students are going to be involved in. Okay, so that's what we do in video. Okay, now for some reason, your output needs to be smaller. Okay, I don't know why it would need to be smaller, but for some reason it does. Maybe you're doing 720. Then you have a downscale filter, and I'd recommend this Lanscos. It's got 36 samples. It's a high rate filter. You can try it. Maybe you'll find one you like a little bit better, but that's the one I would go with if for some reason you need to scale down. I wouldn't suggest doing that because if you've tried to watch a 720p esports stream, not the best quality. Okay, so you want to keep these 1080p the same. Downscale filter doesn't matter then, and 60 frames per second. Okay, that's your video tab. Next tab we want to talk about is the audio tab. Okay, the audio tab. Now, if you want, you can click apply there, but don't click OK. Want to make sure our settings are saved. In our audio tab, you'll notice at the top, I'm set to 44.1. Now, most of your apps are going to like 48. Most audio apps, they love 48. If you're streaming to YouTube, however, or Twitch, I would try 44.1 first, okay? If that works and the audio's great, your stream sounds good, leave it at 44.1. YouTube likes 44.1, okay? Of course, you could also try 48, see how it goes, especially if you're on Twitch. 48 I think works a little bit better with Twitch, but if you're on YouTube, try the 44.1. Now, here's your global audio devices. You want every single one of these disabled, right? Desktop audio, everything. You don't want them on default. That's usually how most of them are set. You don't want that. The reason why is because this will automatically put in audio sources into your stream that you did not maybe want. For instance, if your desktop audio is set to default, well, then you might get a notification while you're streaming, and that sound will be heard by your audience. So we want to disable all this and only put in the audio sources directly into our scenes that we're going to want. So only thing else to really talk about here is this monitoring device. This is just where you would select what monitoring device you choose. You want to monitor. Usually it's headphones, right? If you notice mine, I don't really have any headphones. There's a Wavelink Elgato headphones. Okay, but that's just a headphone jack. I can plug into my Elgato mic. I'm not even using my Elgato mic right now. I'm using my Shure. What I use is a M Audio M Game RGB dual stream. I use that because it allows me to control all my audio from hardware with faders and dials, and do cool little sounds effects like, you know, cheers and things like that. Okay. So I use that. So I just leave mine on default usually, but you may want to select your headphone device. Okay. Maybe that's where you would like to monitor what's going into your mix, your stream mix, right? Okay. Alrighty, so that's all you need to worry about here in the audio tab. Let's talk about the last tab. This is the output tab, the most important one, really. Notice it's set to simple. You want to first change that to advanced. We want advanced. So we're going to go to the advanced setting. Okay, first thing we have are some general streaming settings. These are the different audio tracks. We're only doing one track. All the audio is being recorded in one track, so there's one track selected. We don't need to worry about Twitch VOD. Let's talk about our encoder. This is what matters, and it's different by device. If you have an Apple computer system, you'll see different things in there. What's important to know is that if you have a decent graphics card, you want your graphics card doing all this work. So on Apple, it just depends what computer you got. If your computer has an external graphics card, that would be the best. But this is a Windows device, and I have an NVIDIA RTX 3060. It's a decent graphics card, and it can handle all the encoding I need to do. X264, this is basically your computer processor. Okay, so whenever we can, we don't want to use our computer processor because now we're taking away resources, our computer resources. Our computer's running our streaming program and our streaming software, and so we'd rather have the encoding being done by our graphics card. So that's what you want to select if you have a decent graphics card. Okay. Your rate control is going to be CBR. This is what YouTube and Twitch like. Your bit rate, well, this really depends on your system. If you are struggling, maybe you don't have a graphics card, I would try setting this at 4,500 kilobits per second. Okay. And see how that works, especially if you don't have a graphics card. But usually 4,500 is the minimum you want for 60 frames per second. Okay, and 4,500 kbps translates to 4.5 megabits per second upload speed. Okay, so this is basically the general rule of thumb is this: whatever you set your bit rate at, you want your upload speed. Your internet upload speed needs to at least have 50% more. So if this is 4.5 megabits per second, you would want 50% more. So you want 6.75 megabits per second, at least. Okay. I'd go 9,600 on mine, which means I would need to have at least 14.4 megabits per second as an upload speed. Now, so this really depends on your school. What you can do is run a speed test, okay, and see what your what your speed is. If I do a speed test right now, speed test, I usually just do this one here. I'll let that run. But you notice it's in megabits per second. So again, 4500 is 4.5 megabits per second. 9600 is 9.6, right? So I'm on a gigabit system though at my school. So I have all the bandwidth I need. So for me, none of that's going to be an issue, but it might be an issue at your school. Okay. Generally for gaming, I would hope you would have somewhere close to at least 200 to 300 megabits per second download speed. A gigabit is, if you got 20, 30 kids on, you definitely, a gigabit helps. Now your upload speed, see, I almost have a gigabit in upload speed. I only need 14.4 megabits per second for a 9600 bit rate. So that's what the bit rate is all about. You in general want 50% more, okay? Your keyframe is just leave it at 0, auto. These presets here, this really depends on, you know, your graphics card, if you're encoding with that, or your computer. I like things to be on the best quality. My graphics card can handle it no problem. So I always go for the best quality. Tuning, high quality. Profile, high. Okay, I just 2 passes is fine. Quarter resolution. You could try full resolution. This really is not, doesn't change much, but I like the tuning and the preset and profile to be high. Now again, if you have a graphics card that can't handle that, just try tuning these down one, okay, and see how that comes out. Okay, just do some test streams. These other settings here, look ahead, don't check that. Psycho-visual tuning, leave that checked, don't need to worry about it. GPU 0, max frames 2, okay? Again, so that's pretty much the settings in the output tab for streaming, and that is really the best settings you could have for your stream. Okay, using a graphics card, and all these 3 set at the highest levels. Again, if your graphics card can't handle some of these levels, just try tuning them back down a bit. You could try better quality. Okay, you could go here and say, you know, low latency. Or you could go here and try, instead of high, try main. Okay, but I like everything to be the best it could be. The other thing to consider in the output tab is the audio. Now the audio, really the bitrate for your audio, if you're using YouTube, should be 128. Twitch says it can do 320, and 320 is really what you want if you're doing recording or anything like that. You're not streaming. But YouTube likes 128, and until they change that, we'll have to have that at 128. Twitch does support 320, but I would try it out and just see how the audio sounds. Make sure it's not cutting out. Okay, so 128. I don't need to worry about these other tracks because I'm only using one track. Now, just for the heck of it, we'll talk about recording. Recording settings. This is just where you want it to go. Your recording format, MKV, is usually the best, and it's easily, you can convert to other formats, MOV, MP4. MKV is a great one. Encoder, again, same thing. There's different encodings, okay? I just like to use my NVIDIA encoder, and then it gives me something very similar as to what I'd have in the streaming, okay? And then I can come down here, and CBR is great. I could change my bit rate. And again, that 4500 minimum really is, that's because we're streaming games. So if you're doing tutorial videos like I'm doing, 2500 should be fine. And a slower quality, high quality, high, all that stuff is just the same as your stream, okay? I might even bump this up to best quality. because you want to always get the best out of your video. And I would bump mine up here too, just because I do a lot of computer stuff. I would do mine at 4500. Apply. And now that we've set all these 3 tabs, you can click OK. There you go. Now go ahead and try some streams. Try some streams, okay? In our next video, or in another video, we're going to go over how to set up our streaming, okay? So next video, we'll talk about this tab right here, how to set that up and test your stream and test your broadcast out. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to our school channel, and we'll have lots more videos of how to make your streams better, how to shoutcast, and just how to really get students involved into this whole new world of esports. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.